Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making this turtleneck maxi dress. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us in the comment section. For all my returning subscribers, thank you for your continued support. So today I'm going to be, of course, making this turtleneck dress with my usual big twist yarn. Let's get into it. So as per usual, I start out with my plain blank sheet and I just add my little notes on the side. Everything's going to be panel mode. I'm going to be doing 2 panels. The back panel is going to be 150 rows and the front panel is going to be 220 rows. This includes the brim. So you might want to add an extra 10 rows onto each of your panels. I start off with the front panel. This is what I want it to look like. And then, of course, the back panel is just going to be basic. Then I'm going to add in the fact that these are going to have brims on them. If you haven't seen my brimming method, you're gonna see it again. I do have other videos of me doing the brim method, so I'll link them in the description box to help you guys out. But again, 220 rows to the front, 150 rows to the back, based on my own measurements. Alright guys, I'm slightly recovering from a sore throat and sniffling nose. Whether it's a cold or flu, I don't really know, but I apologize for how my voice sounds in this. So first, we're going to be putting on our scrap yarn, or casting on our scrap yarn to our Sentro on panel mode. I didn't do a lot of rows for this. You can do up to 10 if you're really good at this, but I recommend you do 20. I sometimes do 10 just because I want it to hold the live stitches in place and I can work faster. But if you're a beginner or you're a little bit scared, I recommend that you do 20 or 30 if you want, but do as many of these stitches as you possibly can, because it will be very helpful for you when you want to see where your stitches are. And I do recommend using a totally different and brighter color than your project yarn. So my project yarn is going to be violet purple, and my scrap yarn is going to be red, as you can see here, because I really need to distinguish from my 2 yarns. All right, so here I'm gonna start putting on my project yarn, and then I'm gonna go around my Sentro really slowly. You want to start off super slow. I cannot stress this enough. Start off super slow when you're first doing your project yarn. This is sped up, so it will look fast, but I promise you it's not. I'm going slow so that all of my Sentro needles get to grasp that yarn. Go slow. Sometimes you'll have a drop stitch if you go too fast. You will have skipped stitches. Your loops are going to get bunched up where you'll notice that one needle has like 2 live loops on them, which shouldn't be happening. I'm telling you, based on my own lived experience with this thing, when I've tried to like rush through a project, you will get a horrible stitch work if you go too fast on this thing. So go as slow as possible for the first 5, I will say up to 20 rows, and then you could like start cranking that bad boy out. So we're gonna do 50 of these rows. Here you can see all my 50 rows are set. I'm doing the front panel first, which is gonna be, the turtleneck is gonna be 50. And the rest of the body is gonna be the remaining stitches. I keep saying stitches, I mean rows, but stitches equals rows, guys. Bear with me. So I'm going to be doing the brim method, which is grabbing the live loops, as you can see here, and casting them onto each needle of my Sentro, and just doing a really good job at making sure those bad boys are on there really well, okay? This is something that you do slow. Again, this part of the video is sped up, so I'm not working as fast as this video shows. But you want to make sure you get those loops on. Now, you don't have to push it down as much as I'm doing in this video. You just have to make sure it's over that needle. I'm pushing it down because some of them kind of tend to rise up a little bit. Each needle does have a hook underneath, like a you know, like a beaking thing where it has like a little rounded scoop under there to keep the yarn in place from getting off of the needle. But again, I just, out of an abundance of caution, I do this. Just hook it over and just push it down a little bit. Before you saw me pulling on the yarn there, I'm trying to not have a loose brim for my turtleneck, so I pulled the yarn through to give it like a more tighter seam. Again, this is like a brimming technique that will be noticeable in some instances, and you want to make sure that the piece of yarn that is actively going under each needle is tight. Otherwise, it's gonna look loose and sloppy. So try to, as you're going, you're doing a lot of things at once here, but try as you're going, after you do like, I don't know, 10, go back to that yarn and start like pulling it like I was doing, just to make sure that it's tightening around, so you have like a better look of that brim when you're off casting. While I have you here, I wanted to let you guys know I do have a Buy Me Coffee link. The link will be in the description box. I have not been monetized on YouTube yet. You have to be 1,000 subscribers and about 3,000 watch hours. I am so close to that mark. Not sure if I'll get it by the year's end, but if you like my videos and you like what I do and you want to see more of these, consider buying me coffee. Again, the link will be in the description box. I am also selling some of my Sentro projects there, so if you could click on the link and go to my shop, you'll be able to see some of the Sentro projects that I have worked on for sale and available. Thank you. Alright, now we're getting closer to the end of our brimming technique here. I'm going to skip a lot of the row making after I've completed the brim, so that we can get to getting our concept together and making this dress out. I've done this dress before and it came out magnificent. I did it in brown and now I'm doing it in this violet color. So after I finished the brim, I just did the remainder of my rows. Again, it is going to be a total of 220 rows for the front, and the 50 rows we created in the beginning for the turtleneck is included into that. So that means we have 170 rows left for this bad boy to be completed, right? So once you're done with the brim, you start to just crank 170 rows or whatever your measurement comes out to. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the beginning, for every 5 rows you knit, you get 1 inch. So my total body length from my neck down to my ankle is 42 inches. So you multiply 42 inches by 5 and you will get the total number of rows you will need to create your project. I may have added 10 rows or minus 10 rows. I can't remember exactly because I did the I did the measurements in the very beginning, but that's pretty much what it comes down to. 5 rows equals 1 inch. And then you measure yourself from neck to ankle, if that's how far down you want it, or neck to knee, or chest to knee. Multiply that by 5, and you will get the number of rows required. Now here I'm kind of showing you what my brim looks like. It has a tight finish, which I really love. And that's gonna be our turtleneck. So here I have cranked out a significant amount of rows at this point. You're gonna need so many rows, guys. When I say you're gonna need rows, you're gonna need so many rows for this project. Me particularly, I have a 42-inch waist. And so the reason why I use a lot more rows, I think I added actually 10 more rows to my project, and it's because I need that extra stretch in my hip area. So if you want to have extra stretch in your hip area, you may want to add multiple rows. If you don't need extra stretch, then you might need to minus rows. This is all in all a project that requires a lot of measuring, a lot of numbers, really. I would say numbers, but not really. But yes, you do need to measure yourself. You do need to understand the yarn you're working with. You do need to realize that you might have a smaller waist or a bigger waist or bigger hips, smaller hips. Know the yarn you're working with so you could get that stretch or no stretch at all. And then start doing your project. As y'all know, guys, I have not uploaded in 2 months. I'm uploading in 2 months, and that's because I work full-time in an office, and I'm also going to law school part-time, so it's so hard to crank out these videos as much as I used to. Crazily enough, I started my YouTube channel when I started law school, and I was still working at the company I'm working at now, so it's crazy how I was able to pump out a lot of videos then, but I'm unable to now. But that just shows the progression and how harder my classes have become. But anyway, I finished my first panel, which was my front panel. That was 220 rows, and now I'm working on my back panel, which is going to be 150 rows. It is going to be from my lower back or mid back to my ankle, which is how I measured it. I just kind of used my tape measure, measured from the middle of my back down to my ankle, grabbed that number again, and multiplied it by 5. 5 equals the number of rows that will equate to 1 inch on the Sentro. So once I was done with that, I ended up, let's say my my mid back to ankle length was 40. I would multiply 40 by 5, and then I will get the number 200. My mid back to ankle isn't that isn't like 40 inches. I don't think I just pulled that number out of nowhere, but you will need 200 rows in order to complete your back panel. And you can use that number to create your turtleneck or brim effect. So I use a smaller brim for my back, which was 30 rows that I folded in half, making it 50. And for my neck, 50 rows, folding it in half to make 25. Now here we are, we have our front and back panel. Obviously, front panel is longer, back panel is shorter. It looks like not even that much of a difference, but I promise you they are. I stretched mine out to kind of like push the rolling, make the rolling effect that you get when you have these, when you off cast them, they give you this terrible like curling effect on the corners. So I stretched mine out to make them a little bit better, as you can see. So yeah, but they are distinctively different. So here I got my needle here. It's not sharp, but I'm gonna be using the needle to sew my brims closed. A lot of you may not know it, but I have carpal tunnel, so some parts I'm gonna probably use my sewing machine. Okay, so here is a look. I haven't stitched these together yet, but here is a look of basically the idea of what I want this dress to look like and what it will look like after we're done. We have our beautiful 50 row brim that was folded in half to make it 25 on each side. Then this is going to be the back portion where you can see the back panel that has 30 rows that was folded in half to give it 15 rows on when it's folded. So this is just gonna be like overall the most beautiful thing ever. I can't wait to finish this. I don't know where I would wear it to, but you know, projects are for relaxing, and this is my relaxing project. So just wanted to show you guys what this is gonna look like after we're done completing the sides. First, I'm gonna start pinning them together and show you what that looks like. So here I use my sewing clips to clip the sides. Again, I have terrible carpal tunnel in my hands, and so I would not have been able to knit these together or use my crochet pins at this time. I'm in New York, so since it's cold, my carpal tunnel gets really, really bad, and so I'm unable to do it at this time, so we're gonna use a sewing machine. And here we are. This is not a sewing machine. This is a serger, which I thought would have been a little bit better than my sewing machine because it will just add this like industrial quality finish to the project. Again, take it slow if you end up doing this. If you have one of these, I don't think a lot of people will have one of these, but if you guys do use the crochet stealing method, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, unfortunately, because I have horrible carpal tunnel and it really affects me in the wintertime, and we're in the wintertime. I'm unable to do that, so I do sincerely apologize. But in any event, we're gonna finish this bad boy, and we're gonna have a great project. So keep on watching, and I'll show you what I do to the turtleneck to finish that off. I won't be doing it in the sewing machine because it's a little too bulky for that, or my serger rather, but keep on watching, and we're gonna close this turtleneck up next. All right, so now that we have these sides together, we're gonna do the turtleneck. I'm gonna show you what method I'm gonna use to close this up. So basically you're gonna put them together and then use your sewing needle here. And then you're gonna be putting them like this diagram here. You're gonna be putting them through at least 4 yarn loops so that you can get a seamless finish at the very end. Usually when I finish going back and forth through at least 4 yarn loops, and I tug on it, it creates such a seamless finish that it's like insane. Like I'm showing you here, to me here it looks kind of messy, but I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. Okay, so here it's done. Like, can you please look at this? It's so crazily seamless, it's insane. When you do push it apart, you'll see the bulkiness in between, but other than that, like, so seamless. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like, I'm obsessed with this dress. I can't believe it came out so beautiful. I can't wait to wear it. We're in the season of coldness, so it's gonna be awesome. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and I will see you guys in my next one.